Hayden on Titan Shift. Sometimes you'll see like a Carnage Tyrant or Gaia's Revenge in the board for Titan Shift. Hayden does not have that. He's going to rely on these 3 Tireless Trackers and maybe these 3 Relic of Progenitus to do some work.
These cards are all fine. Turning off Snapcaster Mage is not the worst, though for the Blue Moon deck, if you just assemble Blood Moon and or some counterspells, Snapcaster Mage is still a clock, even under a Relic of Progenitus.
Yeah, that's why when I said those 2 large, the uncounterable, the Carnage Tyrant or Gaia's Revenge, this is the matchup they really shine in if you register them.
I have beaten a comical amount of Relic of Progenituses by either casting a Snapcaster Mage and either like squeezing in just some spell to flashback because you get a window a lot of the times, or it's just a 2/1, and that's still a card. And sometimes, like I play different decks, obviously it does not apply to Blue Moon, but sometimes you can even just pull off a Tassiger through Relic of Progenitus or like a Gurmag Angler because Thought Scours add so many cards at once.
Yeah, you can still make a delve threat for sure against Relic of Progenitus. I think in this matchup, Hayden has some cards to board out, honestly, and Relic does something. If he doesn't board them in, I'm not that surprised.
Right. Ooh, his build's kind of cool. You have some main deck Solemn Simulacrums.
Yeah, so this is one that's been pretty popular on Magic Online for a while. 2 Solemn Simulacrums, 2 Courser of Krufix in the list.
Little mid-range element.
Yeah, that has taken the popularity, I think, over Bloodbraid Elf in a lot of situations.
These players are just splitting sleeves back and forth.
Yeah, it allows you to play more Summoner's Pact if you go to Solemn Simulacrum. You don't want to really play that in Bloodbraid Elf decks. The Cascade's really bad.
You don't always want to cast it. That is
You basically never want to cast it, actually, because you have to, like, you can get any creature, sure, but you Cascade that turn, then you spend your next turn paying for the Pact, and then the next turn you get to play something you found. It's just not worth it.
Yeah. It does kind of work out with the curve if you're making land drops, you go find Primeval Titan, but it's just such a steep mana investment. It also just telegraphs exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that's rough. And sometimes you get Blood Moon in between. It's no fun.
Saw Ross playing this matchup, their team open a couple months ago on a win and in against Becky Edelman. Was able to take that one.
Have you lost many games due to inability to pay for a pact?
Not usually.
I always want to win games that way. Just like Cryptic Commanding a land.
Cryptic Commanding, like Cryptic, like I packed for a Titan, they have the Cryptic, and instead they just say Resolves, and they go Cryptic, bounce your forest, untap, snap, Cryptic your forest.
Yeah.
You're not winning. Okay, I mean, you're not winning those anyway.
Yeah, that's true. But it's really funny, and it probably feels bad.
Yeah. I mean, I've failed to pay for packs on camera before. That's nice. It's like miscounting my lands.
That's a rough one.
Yeah. Counting is hard. The theory of it's easy, but the practice is that's harder.
Yeah, people talk a big game until they enter the ring.
Nah, see, counting's easy. So when at I, go to I+1.
That formula sounds like it checks out.
That's counting. Then you say, please demonstrate it. I'm like, whoa, that's not what I do. Hold on.
I didn't. No, I wrote the formula
and
so I don't have to demonstrate it.
You need an engineer for that problem.
This is not applied mathematics.
Yeah. Looks like Hayden on a mulligan here. This is one of the worst mulliganing decks.
Yep.
They'll keep just about any 6.
This is to 5, if I'm not mistaken.
It's very difficult to ramp into a 6-drop from a 5-card hand on the play.
Yeah, you don't really have ways to make that up.
It doesn't matter whether you draw lands or Farseeks. It's just... So to get there on turn 4, 5 cards. You drew cards on 2, 3, 4. So you have 8 cards total. You need... the amount of wiggle room you have here
very low.
Yeah, I mean, 7 of them had to be lands or ramp spells, and then you have a Titan, and then you're out of cards. You give 1 card to give?
Yep. All right, he's found a keepable 5 and even scry to the top.
Sure, starts out on Valakut. It looks like Ross does not have Blood Moon. However, if he has Spell Snare is excellent in this matchup.
You don't say.
Tri-Belder.
Another matchup where Spell Snare is good.
This is a good. This one's. I mean, Spell Snare is just excellent against Titan. All the ramp spells are on 2.
In particular, these versions that don't play Bloodbraid Elf.
I don't tap the Codex Shredder for Spell Snare, Ryan. Just saying. It's not good enough. He's just casting Opt.
Boo. Once the first Ram spell gets through, Spell Snare gets progressively worse in the matchup.
Yeah, it's when I have the trouble against blue decks is when they actually start countering every ramp spell. But once I get one here, then like next turn you can cast Solemn Simulacrum. It's fine. Right. They have their Spell Snare, whatever.
You very much have the end game where you just make land drops and they slowly get lightning bolted out of the game.
Yeah. Well, Blue Moon can get around that because they play the card Blood Moon.
It helps.
Against Jeskai, you actually 20 them that way.
Yep.
You usually just have to 18 them. They do the last 2 for you. And then if they ever try to do anything and cast anything to stop it, then you cast Escape Shift.
Yep. Yeah, you have a lot of good stuff in those matchups.
And on paper, without the Blood Moons, this matchup could play out the same way. I mean, this is a Jeskai-ish deck, but the Blood Moons change things.
Yeah, it's a deck that has some permissive elements, but it does not win the game nearly fast enough to keep pace with you making land drops with your Valakut. Especially without those combo elements, as you had mentioned earlier.
You see Hayden goes and gets basic forest with Sakura Tri-Belder rather than a mountain. That's really out of respect to Blood Moon. If there wasn't, like against Jeskai, you would have seen him get a mountain there.
Yeah. Yeah, the basic forest, some of the worst cards in the deck.
Yeah.
Another opt for Ross Merriam. He goes to the bottom. Ends up drawing another island off of that. Still no Blood Moon, but here's Serum Visions.
Blue Moon doesn't even have... Does it play any spells?
You mean spells that aren't cantrips?
Yeah, does it do anything?
Pretty light on those.
He found Jace. Yeah, it plays Keranos. That's the game plan.
The God of Storms.
Back over to Ross. He could make Jace the Mind Sculptor this turn, but he won't. Desolate Lighthouse will be the play. He has Cryptic Command up now.
At a recent Open, I was talking to Ross about Blue Moon. He had just played it at an Invitational, and I asked if he made any updates, and he said, thinking about cutting the Pia and Kieran.
Yeah,
the deck doesn't need that many win conditions, and that's the direction he's gone. No Pia and Kieran. It's just the 2 Vending Click, 4 Snapcaster Mage, 2 Jace, and a Keranos.
Got these. This Harvest Pyre. Lightning Bolt goes up to Ross on end step. Down to 15.
How many cards does Hayden have in hand?
I think 3.
We're not concerned about discarding. I don't know why we're going upstairs with Lightning Bolt.
Courser of Crewfix from Hayden. That'll likely eat a Remand. It does not, actually. Ross maybe it's nothing planned. Primeval Titan's on top of the deck. I don't know if Hayden has land 6, though. He'll say go. Ross will use Desolate Lighthouse, discarding an extra land. He had a Remand. Chooses against it.
Must be light on that sort of thing, because you definitely want to remand Primeval Titan and Escape Shift.
Right. You can, when those cards resolve, you lose. And I guess he had a Roast in his hand. Why is Roast still in the deck?
See, you talk a big game about Blue Moon being the bad cards deck, and then you pretend like it can sideboard into only good cards. This is just what the deck does.
You're playing Roast against a ramp deck post-board? I mean, I get there's 2 coursers. I get that.
Roast plus any other burn spell kills Primeval Titan.
Yeah, there's Tireless Trackers in.
Yeah, Tracker's a big deal.
Okay. No, it makes sense.
Look at how good it was against this 5-card hand. Casting Courser Crewfix on turn 7.
It traded with a card. if that's what good is.
The Courser didn't even replace itself. Not because of the Roast. The Roast had nothing to do with that.
Another Courser? Could it be? Reclamation Sage. Nice. Passes the turn.
I feel like Hayden is throwing in the towel making plays like this.
I don't like this play. The idea is that the chip damage will pay for itself, or the idea would be that by the time Ross makes Blood Moon, he'll have Counterspell backup, so who cares? And that's all well and good, but I don't know that this matters. It's just going to eat a kill spell.
Not even that if this is just Electrolyze.
That's Lightning Bolt.
Okay, it's Lightning Bolt. That's fine. Ross has 2 Electrolyze in the deck.
And I think we're going to see Jace the Mind Sculptor this next turn for Ross. He'll Jace, Brainstorm, leave up Remand.
You might even just plus this turn so you don't have to worry about Lightning Bolt.
Sure, could see that too. Here is the Planeswalker.
Doesn't really even matter who you target.
He will scry with it. Scries to bottom. Pretty clearly has the Remand here.
I'm glad that you said scry. I hear a lot of players say
Fate Seal myself. That's called
and it's
scrying.
like, we have had a word for this way longer than we've had that one. And yeah, Hayden does have another Lightning Bolt in hand.
4 mana card, likely to eat a Remand. Whatever card it is. Solemn Simulacrum. There we go, put that back in your hand. Ross remands into another remand. When you have a Jason play, that is a mighty fine place to be.
Just going infinite.
Jace will now start brainstorming.
And there are games where the Blue Moon deck can get into some trouble when you have Jace plus Blood Moon because your fetch lands no longer work. It is not a problem for Ross in this game. He'll be able to shuffle away with the Brainstorm. Of course, you do want to have a fetch land. Looks like Sulphur Falls was land for turn.
Hayden will shoot Jace down to 2.
Wouldn't be a very major point here, but if Hayden still had that Lightning Bolt he pointed upstairs previously, he could aim that at the Jace, though he is behind it by way more than just the Planeswalker. Hayden's finally found the 6 mana. You can start jamming Primeval Titan.
Yeah, you can certainly go for one. Let's get the ball rolling. You can try it every turn, and maybe it'll work on one of them.
Imagine if that was a Carnage Tyrant.
Yeah.
I think Ross would just lose on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, this is the, like, Carnage Tyrant or Gaia's Revenge. Those are the, like, this matchup's insane.
Yeah.
Frequently, their list is just cold to it.
Yep. It's not what you can do. Ross with the Vendilion Click end step.
The issue is there just aren't many matchups like that. This is the one.
Yeah.
Jeskai is getting better, just continues to get better against that kind of effect.
Yeah, there's got to be something we can cut from this sideboard.
You would probably cut one of the relics.
Yeah. I am continuously not impressed by Obstinate Baloth.
Yeah, it is good against Hollow One, is the theory. There's not really enough Jund left to justify it. And it is good against Burn. But Burn's another deck on the downswing.
And Ross finally sets up Blood Moon.
All right. Well, there are one forest in play for Hayden.
And still blocking with another Remand in the hand.
Okay, well, there is that Solemn that can maybe find a nothing. That maybe can get remanded.
And now Ross has a whole bunch of Lightning Bolts. I think he just picked up, maybe he brainstormed it back. There's at least 2 available. Presumably.
Again, yeah, he has a Snapcast, 2 Snapcasters, too. So 2 bolts, 2 snaps, and an attack.
Yep.
That actually has enough lands to do all of it.
Yeah.
Swing, I think you can go bolt, bolt, snap, snap, bolt, bolt.
Yep, 8th land makes that possible. There it is.
There we go. Nice 12 points of burn to finish it off. Bolt, bolt, snap, bolt, snap, bolt. That's 12. And the handshake. Ross Merriam improves to 5-1 with Blue Moon.
Yep. Tournament off to a pretty good start. This is another deck that you don't see too much, but Ross has been very big on it. And so far, pretty good start to his tournament.
Yeah, not a great game 3 for Hayden. The mulligan to 5s are just very difficult.